Hello.
I know.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. Welcome to the Standalone podcast where you get a little bit of everything in this thing. Today we are going to be talking about service dogs and go into a little bit more detail about that. But first, a little update on Courtney. What do you got for us from dog training school? What have you been doing?
Um, well, we last practical we were working on getting a dog to lay. Um, it's a great task for every service dog. I take that back, not every service dog, most service dogs. In case like say a person is having a sensory overload meltdown or, a flashback or whatever, it's good to have the dog lay across them. It gives them, pressure points and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
That was the picture that
so
we
yeah.
posted with Christian, which is his
Yep.
roommate. So yeah, that's on our Facebook page. What else?
Yep. And then this week we started working, or Friday we started working on alerting. So basically, the dogs are going to alert to sound. It's teaching us how to train sound alert dogs for deaf people.
Gotcha. So, we are under 100 days till Courtney comes back for our people that have been contacting us. We're almost there. To where Courtney will start his services again. But today's episode, after this week, I'm ready for it because I had to witness 2 different service dogs that were not service dogs and German nuts. So let's just dive into this. I'm pretty much gonna talk and you can add some stuff in
Yeah.
about your knowledge in it. We'll keep opinions out of it because this is kind of more of an informal this is an informative podcast because we want people to know the difference between service dogs and non-service dogs. So a lot of this information is directly from the ADA's website, which we can
For y'all that don't know, ADA is Americans with Disabilities Act.
yeah. And y'all can just Google that because I can post a link. It's no big deal, but
I was yeah, it'd probably be best to post a link on that.
and then some minimal stuff from the school that Courtney's going to about their service dog things. But so basically, what a service dog is is first of all, it's not a pet. It's a very common thing for people to slap a vest on a dog and say it's a service dog so they can take their dog into public. But as we get going more onto this episode, you'll learn shame on them. So basically, a service dog is a dog that is professionally trained, usually, to provide a direct related task to a person's disability. Would you agree with that? Yeah.
They don't have to be professionally trained.
Yes.
Like my first service dog, Bravo, he was a self-trained, but I had professional input,
Yes.
to help me along that way. So you can self-train a service dog. The biggest thing of what they're not emotional support animals.
We'll get to
is
that.
not
Don't get into that. Don't get into that yet. We will get into that. I promise.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So yes, he's absolutely right. And that's on the school that he's on. They post that there's advantages to having it self-trained and disadvantages to self-train, but there's also the professionally helping, like he said, advantage and disadvantages. And a lot of it has to come down to time and cost is really what it is, the difference. So anyway, yes. And the dog's sole function is to provide a task to help with somebody's disability. And like Courtney was talking about, a service dog is not an emotional support dog. It is not. And that is via the ADA website, not our opinion. So, Court, why don't you give us some examples of what service dogs are out there.
Okay. So big ones that Highland trains are autism support dogs. They're service dogs. They're trained to do tasks. Most of the ones here, we train them to do tethering, which basically your child is kind of leashed with the dog, and you have a leash, so you control the animal, but the kid can't run off and all that stuff. They are trained to stop impulsive behaviors. It was actually really cool. We went to the school, um, to an elementary school, and some of the special ed class came in. And there was a girl that had autism, and she started doing her little fidget, and then one of the dogs actually, without being told, started to like touch her with his nose to get her to stop doing that. And it was really cool seeing that. Because training a dog for a year and a half and actually seeing them do what they're supposed to do without being told is pretty stinking awesome.
Yeah.
So there's tasks where they can retrieve things, they can turn on lights, they can wake you up, they can honestly, it's almost endless possibilities. The main thing is they are paired with people. A lot of people they contact us about, oh, can we train my little Fluffy to be a service dog? Probably not, because your dog probably doesn't have the temperament and all that stuff and the drive to do what they're supposed to do.
I do want to jump in. Highland does offer that on their website, though, just as you know, that they offer training the dog that they already have.
Yeah.
So just a disclaimer, I don't think Courtney really wants to do that unless they go through.
I will if the dog passes the temperament.
Yeah, there will be a test, kind of trying to see where your dog's at before they can really. And is it
But
just a one-time thing, or is it kind of over a certain time to see?
It's over a certain time. There's service dogs here that get washed close to delivery time because, hey, they're not going to be able to perform this task, or they develop something, it's ever evolving, really.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm definitely willing to work with it, but if you want like a mobility dog, don't come at me with a Chihuahua or a pug. They're not going to be able to help you mobile.
You're gonna mobile on over that dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Some of the website said blind, deaf.
Yep.
Like pulling a wheelchair, like you just said.
Yep. They actually just about a month ago they delivered one to a blind and deaf person.
Oh.
And it was really cool. Hearing the story, they actually have a fundraiser coming up to help, because they gave it to the person via their nonprofit. So
yeah. They said alert and protect somebody with seizures, remind someone to take pills, and calm a person with PTSD. Those are the common ones. And you mentioned autism too, was the very big one that Highland does. So I've actually seen, I think in a grocery store here or in Kansas City, I don't know, where they had a dog leashed around an autism kid, and he kind of had to stop him from wandering off from his parents.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I mean,
it's really cool, like seeing them, because we do the training, of course, and you act like an autism kid, you're here, there, and everywhere, trying to distract the dog, trying to run off from it. And like you get a run, and then the parent gives the down command, and the dog dead weights. Like, so it makes the kid to where he can only go. So it's pretty stinking neat.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to be getting into more of that as we get along.
Yeah. You'll just have to mind with Courtney, he's out at a different place, so if he sounds kind of robot-ish, it's because service. But yeah, so that's kind of what a service dog is. And again, we'll get more to what a service dog is not here in just a little bit. But from the ADA website, talks about where service dogs are allowed. And that's pretty much, a business cannot deny a service dog. And we'll talk here just a few minutes about what happens if there's a service dog in a building and something happens, but what a business can do. So they are allowed in your local governments, businesses, nonprofits, pretty much anywhere. They are not to be allowed denied access because you're scared of dogs, or you're allergic to dogs, if you don't like the person with the dog, just in general, you cannot lawfully deny a service dog person. But
The biggest thing is a service dog is allowed anywhere. General public is allowed. Obviously, if I go to Taco Bell, I'm not allowed to go into the kitchen. So
Right.
why would I think that the service dog and I can go into the kitchen, or if the service dog is disrupting normal activity.
You're just an overachiever. I said we would get there. But
My bad.
yeah, that basically the handler has to have control over the dog the entire time. So now we can talk about what happens if something is to happen with a service dog. This past week I was out and about at Arby's, is the one that ticked me off so bad. This woman came in, there's 4 people. Both of them, 2 of the females came in with one was a little yippy Chihuahua like dog, and another one was like a Shih Tzu dog, and had a vest on it. I seen her come in, and the first thing to alert me to her having a service dog was she was holding it. That is clue number 1 for me, that this lady just slapped a vest on from probably Amazon, and so she can take her dog to anywhere. The second one was she was standing in line and the dog decided to bark at somebody. And it was just somebody walking by. So it wasn't like this dog or this person was doing something or the handler was having an episode or anything. So that was sign number 2. Then they sit down. Sign number 3 was they let the workers pet the dog and the people around them. That was clue number 3. So for a business court, we've talked about this before because we've told my mom what to look for. When it's not obvious what the dog's service that I provide, what is the ADA posted 2 things that you can do. What is one of them that we told Mom? Why don't you tell me?
So I'm gonna go ahead and say both of them because
Okay.
I can. This is America and I do what I want.
Oh, well, anyway.
Yeah. So 2 things that they can ask is it a service animal? And what task does it provide?
Okay.
That is all. You can't ask for paperwork. You can't ask for proof. You can't ask for anything like that. You can ask, is it a service animal?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What service does it provide?
Yeah, you cannot ask them what their disability is, just to clarify. You can't ask them for paperwork, and legally they're not required to have any paperwork to show you, or they have to. It violates HIPAA. So
A service dog doesn't even have to be in a vest or a harness or anything like that.
Yeah.
Is it smart? Absolutely. To help control that, obviously there's those sovereign citizen types that go out and try to poke the bear and let's get famous on YouTube.
The more that you know about what service dogs can do and what you can do and what people can do, blah blah, you're better off to, when you're confronted, you'll be able to know what's allowed and what's not. So like I mentioned before, you cannot permit, or you cannot tell a person they are not allowed to come in because you're scared of dogs or you're allergic to dogs. You cannot ask for that person, the handler and the dog, to be removed unless the dog is out of control and the handler is not taking any action to control that dog. That woman at Arby's, she laughed and thought it was funny that the dog was barking, and that it was cute, that people thought that it was cute and wanted to pet it. And you also can legally make a handler and the dog leave if the dog isn't housebroken, like if it poops or pees in a place. You can, because that is unsanitary. Even if it's not a place like a restaurant or something, that's unsanitary. And they do legally have the right to do that. So business owners,
you can generally tell because any person with an actual service animal, they're going to take the time to make sure the dog utilizes the restroom.
Yep.
So generally no offense to anybody, but the fat people on the mobility scooters, they have the stupid little chihuahuas. You know, the dog's gonna poop everywhere because they're too lazy to take the dog to utilize the restroom. So that's another red flag. If you see somebody jump out of a car with a service dog and go right in, it's personally for me that sends up some red flags. You
Yep.
know, of
Yep.
oh, great.
Yeah. Just a disclaimer, if you haven't already figured out, we are very passionate about this, and we've talked about it because, like I said, that dog at Arby's, she was the second person I seen that day misutilize a service dog. And I read somewhere where a lady had a legit service dog and was taking it out and with her, because service dog, not just out to the bathroom, but out in public where another dog was, and another dog in a service vest attacked it. And that dog was let go as a service dog because he was too scared to be a service dog. And that is a prime example of why it's so important not to misuse a service dog, because you're limiting people's ability to have something to help them with a disability. And it kind of gives people a bad name.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just that, that leaves you up to legal action.
Yep.
If I go in, if I go in with a dog that's not trained and it's not socialized properly and it's not, it's just a pet with a vest, and it attacks somebody else's dog, that's a potential,
or another person,
between, like that's huge and very irresponsible.
There's more people
and
than
if you
just you. Yeah, more people than just you getting it, because that restaurant, that business, they can get in trouble too because they allowed that dog in.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And it's just like the whole my shopping cart thing. Like I can't stand when people don't put their shopping carts back. I can't stand when people blatantly break the law. Like you're not better than anybody else, So to have a fake service dog and potentially to put other people's actual service animals or other people's health at risk is super irresponsible.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't wish bad on anyone, but I hope the day comes to where, you get what you have coming to you in that sense. Like you deserve to be sued for that because you're irresponsible.
Yeah. So we've talked about when you come back, because you did it at school, we will very happily come to your business and educate you on this, because there is just so much that goes into training this dog. And whether you want to take the easy way out and just slap the vest on it instead of getting it actually trained, that's kind of on you. I mean, it's just one of those, you either take the time to do it, whether you do it yourself or you have somebody else help you or do it for you. There's no in between. Like you're either taking it into your own hands of doing it and maybe admitting, I don't know what I'm doing, so I need to get help. Because like Highland does, and like we plan on doing, we will have a nonprofit for it. You can raise money for a service dog, and there are some insurances that will take it, but you need to do your research before you just slap a vest on a dog just because you don't want to be alone in public. And ultimately,
and let's be honest, like I'm a big softie. I really am. I've given, I can't even fathom how much, money and time and effort to people just because, I feel bad for them and it resonates. So, if somebody has their own dog and let's just say, I don't know, Lucy, if your dad wanted to use Lucy as a service dog, we could probably make that happen. And it'd probably be a lot cheaper than buying a service dog from us, because we're not going to provide everybody a service dog. There's going to be a huge application process to weed out the frauds.
Highland, I looked at Highland.
Anxiety. It's a huge process.
I looked at Highland's application and it's at least 10 pages. I didn't get to the bottom before I got bored. That was my ADHD kicking in. But I looked at some of it. You needed to have medical history. You needed to have what your illnesses were, what your disability was, what medication you're on, what your work situation is, all that. And I didn't see anything on there unless we can't legally ask for it. That's one of those things that we check, but probably going to want a doctor's note to legit
Oh,
solidify
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
have been diagnosed with anxiety or
I
PTSD.
mean, a service dog is a medical equipment.
Yeah.
So we have every right to ask for a doctor sign off on
And if you
because
get
we're
hostile
not.
with that
Yeah.
application, I'm going to take it as, I really don't have a legit
Yeah.
disability. I just want this dog. Disclaimer. And each case is different. We will definitely look into each application and just kind of discern and meet with the person in the family just to kind of see, okay, is this really what they need? Or is this just something maybe we can give them a few pointers on how to do it themselves? Obviously,
And I'm all about educating people. Like
yes.
we have when we get back, it's mid-December, so we have what 2 to 3 weeks before January starts. Like
Mhm.
I'm probably not going to take any customers, but I'll drive around to every stinking business in St. Joe and make sure that they're squared away
Yeah.
and have a packet of, hey, this is what a service dog is. This is your rights.
Yeah.
Because
Sometimes,
I'm tired of seeing it too. Like I hate seeing it. Like
yeah,
it frustrates me beyond belief.
it sits
And
it
if
sits there and
you
you get
person,
heckled. You like
yeah,
just like
and if you need 2 service dogs, then you're not doing it right. That's
well,
the big thing. Like,
this lady, it was one lady had one and then the other lady had one. So,
yeah,
but they were sitting on the
but
lap, you know.
yeah,
But
but I've seen fat people at Walmart in their mobility scooters.
yeah,
They have 2 chihuahuas in their buggy. Like
yeah,
you don't need 2 service dogs.
yeah. I think it's important for businesses to know this because, for one, I don't think people realize the dire need for people's education on what to do about service dogs because
Yeah.
they're putting their business at a risk, allowing just anybody with
Yeah.
a dog in. And
Yeah.
if you don't have staff or management up to key with, hey, you don't have to let them stay in here because they did this, this, and this. We were at
Yeah.
Food Lion one time and a service dog pooped on the floor and they had to ask the person to leave because
Yeah.
he pooped on the ground and it was
Yeah.
right there in the middle of the walkway. Food Lion is a grocery store for the people who don't know around here. Sorry. But
Yeah.
it's, well,
Just southern
Courtney's
thing.
got one in North Carolina, but we had one in Clarksville. So I miss it so much. Anyway, let's digress into emotional support dogs. Let's see here. Courtney, what is an emotional support dog? Nicely.
An emotional support dog is a dog, but they make you feel warm and fuzzy. So every stinking dog is an emotional support dog in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
That is not a service animal.
Okay. Well,
A
here.
therapy dog
Go
is
ahead.
not a service animal.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
Okay. From a legal standpoint, an emotional service dog is a dog that is not required or specialized in a specific task, such as a service dog. And for the people that want to say that it is, you can look this up because I wrote this down right before we recorded. Emotional support dogs are not allowed where service dogs are. If you did not know that and you have taken your dog because it has an emotional support vest on, you should have been kicked out of that store. That's the nice way to put it.
no.
They
and that goes back to the education thing. People see a dog in a vest. They don't want to ask questions because, everybody's all snooty and rude nowadays.
Mhm.
Like,
But you have every right
I
as a
guarantee
person.
St. Joe yep. St. Joe businesses will be educated.
Yes.
I don't care if it costs me $1 million. I will educate the people of St. Joseph, Missouri.
And surrounding
It's a better
areas. Yes.
Yep.
So here is what oh snap, I lost my train of thought. Give me just a second.
That's never happened before.
Oh yeah, okay. Daily task. No, an emotional support dog via the ADA website is just somebody that comforts a person. It is not a substitute for anxiety. If you have anxiety out in public, that's not what an emotional support dog is. Sorry.
Yeah.
My dog lays on me and wants me to pet him, and I feel 10 times better,
Mm.
but he's not a service
Yachty
dog.
would never be a service dog. He does not have the right temperament. He will never be a service dog. Shoot, Fia's little dog statues are emotional support animals.
Yeah. To be honest, I really wish Yachty was, but he's too much of a social butterfly. He just can't. And
That, and then when he pees on people when he's excited,
yeah, he's a
so
happy
that
peer.
qualifies him.
So that's a good
Yeah.
example. I'm glad you brought that up because we are mature enough and educated enough to know that Yachty will never be a service dog. And there's some things we're kind of curious about because one of the teachers or whomever said that she was doing a study on dogs to see if neutering or spaying affects dogs in the long run, like too early. And so that kind of did our thinking of maybe that's why he still pees being 2, because to some people he got neutered early, and it kind of looked back on it, we think it was too early. It was just one of those, we had the money,
and that's why
and
he's torn both ACLs, and you know.
Okay, so yeah, we were talking about how we knew as dog parents that Yachty wasn't right for us, and how important do you really think that it is that people kind of understand knowing if their personal dog is good or not?
It's hugely imperative, and if you don't have the ability to tell if your dog is not right for that work, call me.
Yeah. What do you?
I'll do that. Will be our free eval. I'll tell you, hey, unfortunately, this isn't going to work. You know.
Okay. So, what do you look for a service dog? Like you said, temperament over and over again. What else?
Huge temperament. They have to have some sort of drive. I need either a food drive or a play drive. I need to have the willingness to work. I have to have the desire to work. I need them to be able to pick up on what I'm trying to teach them. They have to be good with other animals. They have to be good with people. Like there's so much that goes into it.
Yeah.
And I'm probably forgetting some key aspects.
Age. I see age was one that high.
Age is huge.
Even breed. Breed is a big one.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like we're not going to go out with a Tibetan Mastiff as a service dog. Like
I mean, kind of scary. Is that why
would be
you kind of see like labs and golden retrievers and German shepherds? Is that why you see them? Because they're kind of
yeah, I don't see too many German shepherds. See a lot of doodles. Doodles are great because they're hypoallergenic. Well, most of them are. If they're breeded properly, they're hypoallergenic. They have great temperament. Some of them are jerks. Okay. But then again, not every dog is going to be awesome. Yeah. Then a lot of golden retrievers, a lot of
Can you
lab.
Think of a breed that maybe
they have that work drive?
Yeah, the work drive is what he said. Sorry. Usually we're good about waiting until each other stops, but we're slightly delayed today. But you said a Tibetan Mastiff, which they hunt lions, if that tells you anything. What more realistically is a breed that maybe wouldn't work well?
Toy breeds. Like
toy? Is that what you said?
Yeah. You want a toy breed, they were bred for rich people as companion dogs.
Are you talking like Pomeranians and Chihuahuas?
Most of the time they're not fit to be service animals. Most of the time. I'm not saying that's the law. I'm not saying that I had somebody tell me one time that service dogs can't be black. I was like, what?
Based off what?
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Mostly you're gonna want working breeds because they have the desire to work.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I mean, we're probably not gonna be training toy breeds to be mobility dogs. Yeah. It's not a lot, Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Yeah. Fun fact, I had to educate Bristol today because he really likes border collie dogs. And those are working dogs.
They're herding dogs.
And I said,
there's a herding dog.
Yeah, I said, bud, you basically have to live on a farm with a bunch of cattle for that dog not to tear up your house. to be
Nope.
super bored and poop and pee everywhere. And he goes, oh, I said, yeah.
Yep.
A dog like that is going to have to be highly, honestly, in my opinion, I don't know if a border collie would be a good service dog unless that person is, I don't know, heavily
Really active.
active.
Like, yeah, you have to give them hours upon hours of like any breed, any
Yeah.
herding breed, like border collies or any of the
Australian
collies
Shepherds,
or
yeah.
Shepherd, like, yeah, like herding breed dogs they're not lap dogs. If you want
Yeah.
a lap dog, get a pug or something.
Yeah.
Get a Boston Terrier. Like, I mean, obviously they're bred to do work.
Right.
Their terrier breeds were bred to hunt rats and small animals and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you have to be conscious about it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have a Doberman Pinscher. They're working breed dog, but they're more of a protection dog.
Yeah.
Like they're really instinct.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have them being a lap dog.
A
Like
PTSD
you
dog
have
or
to
something.
have,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not impossible
Right.
at all,
Yeah.
but generally you're going to see a lot of labs, you're going to see a lot of doodles, you're going to see a lot of golden retrievers because they have great temperament.
Yeah.
And they have desire, they're people pleasers. They want to do stuff
Yeah.
to make mama and daddy happy, and
Yeah.
that's what sets them up very well to be service animals.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you've got a dog that's maybe like 5 or 6, we wouldn't really recommend that, correct? Because they're up in dog years, that's kind of pushing it.
Generally, yeah.
But there's still that possibility. I mean, I know Highland offers to where you don't have to get a puppy from puppy to do it. And I think we would do that too. You don't necessarily have to have a puppy and train it up from there. For us, now each trainer or facility is different, but we just want people really for this podcast to understand what a service dog is and what it isn't, what it does, what it doesn't, what legally businesses can do and cannot do, even people, not just businesses. Maybe if I had a little bit more extrovertedness and I felt like being a butthead to somebody, I probably would have called those women out for having a false service dog. So if you're out in public, husband, and you see that and you're just like, that person is really abusing a service dog, besides asking them what they can do, what can they do? What tasks they do. Sorry. Because
so if you go up to somebody and you say, "Oh, hey, it's a cute dog," is it like, obviously don't go up like, "Oh," like everybody's seen the Stolen Valor videos. You go up and beat the crap out of the guy, and you find out that he's really a Vietnam vet. Don't have some tactfulness to it. Go up and be like, "Hey, that's a really cute dog. Is this a service animal?" 9 times out of 10 they're gonna say yes because nobody can be honest. Oh
well, if
no,
they're
it's
out
just
in
little
public
fluffy.
and with the vest,
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. And you're like, oh, well, that's cool. What can they do? And so businesses they're handcuffed to it. Me, Joe Blow, I can go up on like, what's your dog supposed to be able to do? I obviously I can't ask them to prove it. I can't ask what's wrong with them, blah 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 blah.
But you could tell if you have a good, even a BS radar, or tell if somebody's lying. You can tell, because if they can't give you, well, when I am in a store and I feel, a seizure coming on, this is what they do. So they can tell you, correct, what their stuff is.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
so something like that, those responses matter. And if they can't, be like, oh, I just bring it with me, so I can have it, or I don't want my dog to be alone.
Yeah, and I don't want to go anywhere without a little fluffy. Or like if you go walk up on somebody and the dog is snarling and barking and blah blah blah, like you're not allowed to take a protection dog places because it's not a service animal. And a lot of people think that a protection dog is a service animal. No.
I just want to be able to go to the ATM and have my big old dog right behind me. Yeah. Just so you know, I want a Cane Corso. That's my next dog. And I want it to be don't you roll your eyes at me, sir.
There's one here. His name is Billy, and oh my gosh, this dog is so sweet. I love him to death.
I just want one so bad.
He's like silver gray looking. I don't know. He's gorgeous dog.
I just want to
does everything.
Not have to worry about it. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Go on.
Yeah.
So you're talking about approaching somebody and you're just kind of wondering what we can tell the listeners, watchers, what they can do. Like after they have established, like, no, that's not a service dog. Is there anything they can do
Yeah.
that you know of?
If you determine it's not a service dog, absolutely go up to the manager of the place and be like, hey, this dog is not staying focused, it's not focusing on their owner. It's like, you can tell a service dog
Yeah.
dog is going to be like top notch. They're going to be walking in the heel position, they're going to be focusing on their owner, because that's what they're trained to do. It's
Yeah.
not some dog that's just wandering off.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell a service dog.
Yeah. So you're saying just tell management, and it's up to them. If they
Yeah.
kick the person out, okay, fine. If not, I mean, you can let people know, hey, just so you know, apparently you can bring any dog in here because they don't care. Don't stir the pot. Don't stir the pot. I am not encouraged. Stands Alone is not encouraging you to stir the pot. Shoot. But no, you brought up a good point, which I wanted to bring up is, without talking to a person, you can absolutely know what a service dog is. Like you said, they are trained on their owner. They don't care about your kids running around them. They don't care that somebody's talking to you, really. They're focused on you. But also what they are not doing is they are not begging for attention for somebody to pet them. They are not eating food off the ground. They are not pulling. Another first. I forgot this. Both of those service dogs from earlier had retractable leashes.
Oh my gosh.
So I lied. That was the
Public
first thing I noticed.
PSA. Here is our service announcement.
Another
If
one. We
you
did
have
this
a
last time.
retractable leash, throw it away.
Retractable leashes are not good. Why are they not good,
God.
husband?
Because they're unreliable. They could absolutely break. They're freaking made in China.
Stop it. Hey, why can you not use them besides how they're made?
Oh, because they.
How does it not help an owner with their dog?
I don't know what you're asking.
Okay, so you said you can't have them because they can break.
Yes.
How does it go with the sense of, I'm walking my dog and I have my leash out with that?
Yeah.
Another dog's coming. How does that not help that owner with that dog?
It gives the opportunity for them to be pulling and tugging at that. Like, it gives them more room to be out there. Like, there's a time and a place to have a lot of leash. A 6-foot leash is all you need for a service animal. That's it.
What about any animal? What about any dog?
Yeah, throw the stupid thing away.
Okay.
They're trash.
So he's saying they're trash because they can break real easy, and it gives your dog a little bit too much freedom, even if your dog has never hurt anybody else in their life. Also, just a side note, because me and Courtney have ADHD, this is just going to happen a lot. Never tell a person that your dog is friendly and they don't bite.
You don't know.
Never tell anybody that.
Do not know.
You never know, because I do not tell anymore.
If people ask me about Yachty, oh, does he bite? He hasn't bitten me. Like,
not yet.
He doesn't bite my daughter. Like,
he's not.
I don't know.
So far, he's not. But you can't. You never know what's going to set them off. You could be walking your dog on that retractable leash somewhere, and another dog comes, and that dog, for some reason, ticks your dog off or makes them fearful. They could easily drag you with that leash. They can do that with anyone. But if you have a good, leash, like he said, the 6 foot, and it's more manageable. And if your dog is trained to walk with you, they won't be bolting for that dog. You can do, even if your dog is reactive, there's ways to help that dog. So we really don't want to hear the excuses of the retractable leash. I know some people that have them, but that's up to them. We can tell you that they're not good, but if you just don't want to and something happens, that's up on you. But yeah, so
I think I might start hiring homeless people to go up with scissors, and if somebody has a retractable leash, just clip it.
No, we're not. Don't listen to him. No, but let's just circle back. So I don't even know. We got off topic, but we were talking about, what to do if you notice that, and if management doesn't do anything, but also, what to look for in a service dog. And do you pet a service dog? No.
A lot of people do. I personally don't. I
And
don't.
we've taught our
Because
kids not to.
I know that dog is there to do a task.
Yeah.
And I'm not the type of person like I'm not the leave my shopping cart in the parking lot kind of guy. I genuinely care about other people. It's not just me and y'all are side characters in my little story. No, that's
Yeah.
not how life is. So I leave them alone.
Yeah.
Like I look, and even the fake service dogs, I leave them alone because
I don't wanna get
honestly,
bit.
yeah, that, and then I don't have to punch some fat person on a mobility scooter if their
That.
dog bites me. It's true. It's frustrating.
Right.
People are lazy and it's ridiculous.
I know that. That's not what we're talking about. Anyway, yeah, no, when we've taught the kids from the get-go, don't pet a service. Don't even ask the person to do it. You can ask us and we will tell you no.
Yeah.
And here's why. Because who's to say that our kids aren't petting your service dog and you have an episode coming on, but he's so distracted by my kids because you pet them for just a second, who's to say he won't miss something? And I would feel terrible if something were to happen to that person because I allowed my kids to touch the dog. And I'm sorry, not every dog deserves to be petted. Just because they look cute doesn't mean they are. I've gotten attacked by a golden retriever before. And I was doing nothing but walking on the street, but that dog was out and scared the crap out of me. And so, I mean,
like just a general rule, safe thing. Like if you're out and about and you see a dog with a vest on, one, don't just approach it and just pet it because that's a freaking jerk move. Don't do it. Two, just leave it alone.
yeah.
If the dog is out here barking, acting a fool, absolutely confront them because those people deserve to have,
Be educated themselves.
Yeah, them people deserve to be educated themselves.
Yeah.
But just leave it alone. Let the dog do its job. If you see a dog without a vest, absolutely go up and ask politely, "Hey, may I pet your dog?"
Yes.
It's not that hard.
No, it's not. And if somebody tells you no, don't sit there and argue with them because for one, they don't have your last name. Like, it doesn't
exactly.
You can't tell me how to parent my kids if you're not in my circle or share my last name. Like you can't.
And like the biggest thing is like if it's a service dog, it's medical equipment. I'm not gonna go up to a person with both legs missing and be like, "Hey, can I ride your wheelchair?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Or hey, give me a pump of that oxygen,
Yeah. No.
It's just common sense.
It is, you would think, but we've kind of been figuring out being here, the more that we are here, there's just not a lot of dog education. It's just and it's not trying to be a savior for the town to make sure that everybody with a service dog fraud gets called out. But if you have a business and somebody comes in with that and you're like, I have no dog policy and they're not showing signs of a service dog, I can kick you out. And the more that a business knows about it, the more that they can protect themselves.
Yeah. And here's the thing. 9 times out of 10, if they take you to court, they're going to have to prove that dog is a service animal.
Yeah.
And they will call in professional dog trainers. And guess what? I don't lie for anybody.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah.
If I come in, I don't care if we've been best friends. I mean, which I don't have any best friends. I mean, Christian probably the closest. Well, you, but
You hear that? He said I wasn't his best friend and he's mine. Jeez.
You're my special lady friend. But I'm not lying for anyone. And if I come in off the street, if they call me in to witness, I'm going to flat out tell them, hey, this dog does not show any signs of being a service animal.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? I mean, you might lose some court fees and all that crap, but who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you stick to your convictions, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Simple as that. I mean, very easy rules to live by in life. If you feel that dog is not a service animal, absolutely stick up for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, let them sue you and then let the day in court come.
Yeah, just the more you know. The more you know. And I would feel like, well, I can have it. I have a vest on it. And I'd be like, okay, well, I know as a citizen and from the ADA website that I can legally ask you what test that dog performs for you. And if I feel like that's not a reputable or something that sounds legit for your disability, that
If I ask you and you tell me your Chihuahua is a mobility dog, I'm gonna call BS. If I ask you
Well,
if it's a dog and
I
you say
was
yes,
going
it's
more
emotional
for
support.
like your anxiety and your
Yeah, yeah,
depression and
ESA.
stuff. I mean, I'm not downgrading those at all because I live with them, but I don't have a dog for it and I don't feel like I need a dog for it. But that's not a service dog. The service dog doesn't, if it can't provide you with a task besides just being there to make you feel better, that's an emotional support dog. And legally, that is not allowed in any business.
Yeah,
That does not
no,
require you to,
absolutely.
or it's not a requirement to have. Like you can't, that doesn't give you an excuse to take your dog to Walmart or to, unless the coffee shop allows it, that, or Lowe's, Home Depot, things like that. So
Yeah,
even
and there's plenty of businesses you can take your animal. You can take
yeah,
your animal into TJ Maxx, Home
yeah,
Depot. Basically any hardware store will let you take your animal. And if you're dying to take your dog somewhere,
yeah. If you just don't want to leave your little dog or your big dog at home because they're going to be lonely, um, sorry, not sorry. That's not an excuse for you to to lie for a service dog just so you can take your
yeah,
dog places. Go somewhere where the dog's accepted without it being a service dog. Um,
yeah.
take it on a walk. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like you could sit there and give me your whole life story about how this dog has saved your life. But if it's not been trained for a service dog, and how long, Courtney, does it really how long does it really take for I say a legit one, like a
And
legit
I
service dog?
mean, Highland, we're taking 6 months to a year and a half.
Yeah, their
Like
their
it's
website
it's
says
not
at least 12. Yeah.
yeah, like there's not there's places. A friend of mine just went to court as a witness for a guy in Georgia that was selling service dogs in 2 weeks. Like getting them from the shelter and having them fully trained in 2 weeks.
Hmm.
That's ridiculous. Like, yeah, I was like, man,
Must have some superpowers.
I'm telling you.
Yes. Yeah, so know if you get anything from this, know what you can legally do and what you can't do. If
Hmm.
you think you want a service dog and you're like, hey, Courtney, I really want a service dog, Courtney's gonna come at you with, okay, we're gonna go through an eval. We're gonna talk about what you want the service dog for, what task you want it to perform. And if all you're going to tell us is that you just basically want a therapy dog, we're not going to certify it for you because this is one area him and I completely agree on, not just as business owners and dog services. We will not, even it, like he said, we've been friends forever. We're not going to lie for you. We're not going to sit
Yeah.
there and put a bad name on us just so we can make you feel better. If that's the case, you can go to somebody else that offers it. And if they do it, they do it. But it's also, do you need it? But also, can you afford the time it's going to take? Can you afford it financially? Because on top of it being a dog for your medical issues, it's got to be a dog in general. Like you got to have vaccinations, you got to have food. If something happens to the dogs, you have the money to pay for it. Disclaimer alert, you usually don't. So even if insurance is great for dogs, but sometimes most of the time you have to pay up front for those, and that's just not doable. So
Yep.
so you've been doing service dogs for school for is it been like a couple weeks you've been doing service dog, or a week and a half? I feel like you've been doing service dogs for just a little bit longer than any other thing you've learned.
Service. So the ones that we're gonna we're at the halfway point now. We start week 12 tomorrow, which is right at halfway. So we've done touch. So prong collar, touch, lay. We're doing alert right now. So yeah, I mean we've
Kind of been starting,
service dogs and working dogs are going to be the ones that we work on the most. So
yeah.
we started reading a working dog book on scent and all that stuff. So yeah, this
I
next 12 weeks hopefully is stupid busy, so it goes by a lot faster.
I just want to say that we really want to help people that actually legit need a service dog, because when we were doing it
Yeah.
with our first dog before he disqualified himself, he was going to train it to turn lights off and on, train it to come find me if we were for whatever reason separated in public, because he does have PTSD in large crowds, make him uneasy, his anxiety gets high. For some reason, hardly ever if you see us out or we split up, if we are, we're not split up for long. If you see us in restaurants, he always has to go in first to sit down. I call myself his emotional support dog, because I'm alert to when he's anxious, and I'm like, hey, come back. It's, we're here. I let him sit where he wants to so he can check his surround, whatever I can do to make it easier. And service dogs are so beneficial to those that actually need it. And we've kind of talked about, we're offering for our nephew a diabetic dog. That is not something we're going to be really doing a lot of, but we really want
And with
our
Lucas,
nephew.
it's gonna be a research project as well.
Yeah. Just one of
you know,
those. He's a good candidate, and no matter what the end of the result, no matter how long it takes, he's just so excited because he just wants to be able to have a service
Yeah.
dog because he was just over here, and he wouldn't hook up to our phones so we could see what his numbers are at. So he had to sleep with an adult so that we could hear it. So it's very helpful for somebody like him because they can alert him, hey, wake up, or go get mom and dad. We're low in
Yeah.
case they can't hear it. But yeah, just a disclaimer, that's not something we're going to highly offer as a diabetes dog. We'll probably do more of, what do you say, autism,
PTSD, stuff like
PTSD,
that. Yeah.
hearing. If you got hearing loss, they can help with that. But yeah, we really want to help people out, and just hear our hearts in this. We are so passionate about this because we know the benefits of it. But with anything, whatever there are advantages to, there's disadvantages too. And people misusing service dogs just because they feel lonely or don't want to go out in public by themselves. Or honestly, I think some people do it so they can get attention. It's not going to cut out with us. And if you choose to oh, look, Court, you're showing off your haircut. Courtney got his haircut.
I got them all cut actually.
Actually, yeah. Funny story. He got hot chasing a shelter dog, so he got in his mind to go cut it off. And what did you say when you sat down in the chair to yourself? What did you tell me?
Well, that was 2 weeks ago. No.
Dalen was right. I wouldn't like my long hair.
Oh, that doesn't sound like something I'd say.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, if you have questions about service dogs, ask them. Even if you think it's stupid, ask. If you are interested in maybe wanting one and you're like, well, I don't know if it's really what I need, like medically, like if it's something that I think, still reach out to us. We will do our best to get back with you. Just know that Courtney is in school majority of the day, Monday through Friday. He's just not there training dogs all the time. It's a legit college. He's in the hands-on stuff, but he's also in the teaching side of it. So he's in a classroom and doing stuff. So, and if you feel like, hey, I really want one, but we don't feel like you have what we think is appropriate for a service dog, we'll let you know in a nice way. But I'm sorry, if it's just one of those things, be aware of this. We're not just going to hand it out like candy. You're going to have to go through a process. You're going to go off the application. It's kind of like an interview. You're going to have to go through an interview for us because we want to make sure the right person gets the right dog and it's exactly what they need. Because like Courtney does suffer from PTSD. He also does have hearing loss. So a service dog would be beneficial to somebody like him, but he doesn't want one. So, I mean, it's just, that's it. That's what I'm for. So, and we're clear enough on what a service dog is to know that Yanni won't ever be one. Would we want him to be one? Yes, because I think he'd be perfect. He's just a sweet, loving dog, and he's smart.
I think Yanni would be such a great therapy dog.
Yeah.
A dog that we take and just give him attention because that is what he thrives on.
Yeah.
My gosh, I took him out. So I was helping with some service dogs the other day, and trying to, get some correction going with, there obviously some dogs they slip and, so the service dog team, they're like, hey, can you bring Yachty down? Because, he's basically a freaking mini horse and see if we can get a reaction out of these dogs. And he just loved it. Like he's like, he loves getting loved on. He
Mhm.
loves getting treated. And like, he would be a
He's
great
not
therapy
service.
dog.
He's not service dog material at all.
Nope.
And
No.
and it just kind of, yeah, like we were talking about earlier, we just know that he's a happy peer and that disqualifies him because he can't do it. It doesn't matter if he's seen you multiple times. I mean, us, he's kind of immune to it because he's our dog.
Sometimes.
But
Yeah.
when we come back from vacation and he stayed here or something, it'd be like, oh, there's pee on my foot.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
no.
yeah, and like his first handler that he had, like she come up and she loved on him because she's the one that had him the longest before he hurt himself. He sits down and pees all over her
Yeah.
foot. I'm like, I'm sorry, Jordan. Now you have a soggy sock because
Yeah.
Yachty can't hold his potty.
Yeah. Even if we take him pee. So we're
Yeah.
about our time's about getting cut off. So just to recap, we love people that want to have a service dog, and we love people and we love service dog. Let me clarify that. But we want people to be educated. We want people to know that there is a difference between a service dog and an emotionally support dog. They're not one and the same. Service dogs have a specialized task for a person's disability. Emotional support animals are just there to comfort you if you are feeling sad, lonely, scared. That's it. A service dog is allowed to go basically everywhere with you. Allows dogs, i.e., like you used Taco Bell, you can't go back in the kitchen. Explanatory. And a service dog can go government places, businesses, nonprofits, any of that. Emotionally support dog is not the same, therefore it is not allowed where service dogs are permitted. And the more people realize that, the more the word can get out, and maybe people will be a little bit more hesitant about trying to sneak their dog in. Here in the future, near future, we will we'll go out to different businesses and educate them on what they can do, because you don't want people to be out there and you get sued or something and you're like, well, I didn't know. Well, as a business, I think people should know as what's entitled to lawfully what they can do. So yeah, anything else you want to add before we cut off?
There's also like dogs on airplanes. There's another it's like the Transportation Act or something. I don't know. We'll put all the resources out for housing, for all the different types of stuff. Today we just wanted to focus on what a service dog is, what a service dog is not, and then the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Yeah, just wanted
So
to compare what the difference is, because I think people get confused what an ESA dog is and a service dog is. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can contact us. We'll be more than happy to get back with you as soon as possible. Courtney, like you said, this week will be 12 weeks. We are halfway done. Hallelujah. It's getting long.
3 short weeks in single digits.
Yeah. And so if anything, if it's not even related to service dog, you just have a question, let us know. We'll be getting back into the swing of things in January 2024 for anybody that doesn't know. And for the ones also don't know, Courtney is at Highland Dog Training School in North Carolina, where he is getting his master dog
training.
Yeah. Certificate, diploma.
Diploma, I think.
Sure. He's getting.
I'll be a master dog trainer when I'm done. So
yeah, so he's got skills in everything. He's just not specified or skilled in one area. He'll be skilled in all areas. So we hope that you learned something from this. Again, hear our hearts in this. We don't want people to think we're service dog fraud haters. I mean, it feels that way, but it's just because we're so passionate about people abusing the system.
People that have fake service dogs and do it and they know what they're doing, I hope they stub their toe.
Yeah. It's very
real hard.
It sucks for the ones that actually want it. And then, like we mentioned earlier in the segment, of a service dog had to be brought out of his duties because he was too scared, so he disqualified himself because another dog attacked him in a service dog vest. So know your rights. People do better. Like, do better. we just want people to know and be able to utilize service dogs correctly. So
Yep.
we'll update again probably in a week or two. We'll see if there's anything you guys want us to talk about. Let us know too, because we kind of come up with things on our own just to kind of start this out. But yeah,